everyone. Today I will be doing a very different type of video than I usually do. I've been aware of this situation for like 4 or 5 days now, and I've kind of been watching it unfold all over YouTube, and it is complete and utter disgusting human behavior. That is all I have to say about that. So I figured I would make a video about it. I'll explain why I feel qualified to speak on this. I'm a mom. I have 2 kids, biological children. My 2 best friends both have big families. My best friend Sheena has 5 little boys, and my best friend Shannon has 4 little boys and a little girl, all biological. My nephew is on the spectrum. He has Asperger's. I've been in his life since the day he was born, basically. And my mom used to work at a center for adults with mental handicaps and delays. So my entire life, I've been around people who are on the spectrum or have behavioral or emotional disabilities. And this story it got me so heated. I waited a few days to just give the benefit of the doubt to see if what they were saying would shift or change or be somewhat more emotional, because the video they uploaded, it just seems staged and fake, and there is literally no emotion shown other than phony emotion, which, if you don't know anything about psychology, if someone is a sociopath, they will mirror emotion. So if they think you want to see sadness and tears, they will do that behavior to get what they want from you. In this case, I assume they didn't want to get this wave of hate that they are now dealing with. But what they did is so egregious that they deserve every iota of what is coming to them. Okay, so roughly 3 years ago, they started a GoFundMe. They had a YouTube channel, and they discussed wanting to adopt a child. They had no fertility issues, so they could only adopt from, I believe it was 2 different countries. They settled on China. They found a little boy who they absolutely fell in love with, according to them anyway. And they were given 3 different diagnoses, 2 from a doctor over in China and 1 from their family practitioner over here. And the doctor in the US said he appears to have had a stroke. He is missing a portion of brain matter, which means it is missing. It's not repairable unless medical technology evolves. It's gone. Like, he will always be dealing with some behaviors that aren't neurotypical, is what that means. He, as far as I know, was nonverbal, but he had the ability to do some sign language, and he was laughing, and he seemed to be fairly well adjusted. I have a friend who has a son who is nonverbal. He is also not fully mobile, so he spends a majority of his time in a wheelchair. She does everything for him. She's a single mom, no support from family. She has 2 other children that also have behavioral disorders. One has oppositional defiance disorder and reactive attachment disorder, and her youngest has some other medical problems. I'm not really sure what those are. She does this all alone. No help. She's not wealthy. She doesn't get financing from anything. She is 100% on her own. Super mama, does everything. Barely sleeps. Cares for these children immaculately. She is their biggest fan. She is their biggest advocate. She's an amazing human being. Lacey, if you're watching this, I love you. You know you're a great mom. So, obviously, hearing that these 2 white people who decided to adopt a person of color, a Chinese little boy, I won't be saying his name because he didn't do anything wrong. He doesn't deserve all this attention. The adults, the parents are the ones who deserve all this heat. He doesn't deserve it. He should be able to live as a 4-year-old child and not have to deal with having his life put out there, his tantrums, his diagnoses, all of this that she filmed before they even had the child in their home, before they met the child, and they monetized it. They monetized this entire thing. They had a GoFundMe, which funded the adoption. And then they monetized content. They got sponsored content using this child as basically a prop. That's what it is. Like, what else would you call it? You have someone there who can't consent, is nonverbal. I know that many children on the spectrum have sensory issues. When she brought him home, what does she do right away? Buzzes his hair. My nephew is 16. 16. He has Asperger's. If somebody he didn't know had him in their home and tried to buzz his hair, oh, he would lose his mind. Are you kidding me? You're doing this to a 2-year-old to make him look cute and aesthetic? No. Like, abso-fucking-lutely not. So when he's having a tantrum, Myka is sitting there smiling at him like, oh, look how cute you are, honey. No, ma'am. You just traumatize this child unnecessarily to make him fit into your aesthetic. That is not acceptable. So, okay. After she gets this information about him having missing brain matter, she is like, oh, well, it went in one ear and out the other. No. You are a registered nurse. You have medical training. I went to school for medical administration. I also took psychology courses. I'm not certified as a nurse or anything, but I could diagnose somebody and understand someone's diagnosis. I'm qualified to do that. If you're a registered nurse, your level of comprehension is much higher than an average person. You knew the risks the entire time. You were told up front, he is not neurotypical. But guess what? You ignored all these red flags and were like, oh, but he's so cute. We need to adopt him. And then your channel grew and grew and grew. You were in a video talking about your husband's lowest performing video netted you 48 grand in 1 month. Most people don't make that in a year or two of working. You had all the resources. You had training to care for this child with your medical history, like your history in the medical field. You just lacked the compassion, the empathy, and the unconditional love that it takes to be a parent. When things get tough, you don't just dismiss your child. You said you rehomed him. That term alone is offensive. You don't rehome a human being. You place a child in foster care or up for adoption so they can have the chance at a better life. Rehoming is what you do to an animal who you don't have the time or money to care for any longer. Not what you do to a human being who has spent more than half their life in your home with your family, being treated as a family member. He is nonverbal. He was starting to become attached to your family. He had a routine. He had a schedule, which is very important to children who are on the spectrum, to feel safe and secure. They don't like changes. They don't like surprises. They don't like newness. You just gave him up. Like it was nothing. Like you were giving away an old blanket. And that is absolutely disgusting. There's no excuse. There's no reason for you to have done this. I'm glad he's no longer with people who lack the ability to care, who use their children as props to gain money and following online. I used to make videos a lot on YouTube when my children were little. The moment my daughters are like, Mom, we need you to pay more attention to us. Guess what? I didn't film videos for years. My daughters are 11 and 13 now. And I have 4 brand new kittens that were unexpected. We didn't plan on having any more animals. We were in the process of getting our cat fixed, but we found out she was expecting like weeks before her spaying appointment. And the kittens are now a month old. Kittens. I didn't give birth to them. They're not my children. I could not imagine giving these babies away after 4 weeks because I love them so much. So for you to have one little measly tear as you're talking about, oh, we did what was best for him. He wanted this. He didn't want to be in our family anymore. How the hell do you know? How do you know? He's nonverbal. He is 4 years old. 4 years old. I don't care how intelligent your child is. At 4 years old, They do not have the skills or the empathy or the emotion to say, what you're doing is wrong. I want to be with a different family. And that's real. Parenting is hard. It is not easy. It is not all picture perfect photos and sunshine and rainbows and happiness. There are tantrums and fights and disagreements and stress and financial worries for most people. But you make a killing on YouTube as a family channel, and you can't even do the bare minimum as a parent, which is to make sure your child is safe and cared for. You have the money to pay for his treatments. You have the time. Both of you are full-time YouTubers. Why would you not have the time? This is just unacceptable. I am so heated about this. If somebody has to give their child up because they can't care for them, for any number of reasons, that is acceptable. But for you to go out of your way, choose a child from another country, bring him to this strange country, leave him in your home just long enough to get him settled and feeling like, okay, this is my forever family, and then discard him like yesterday's trash. And you still have videos up that are monetized, featuring him. Use sponsorships involving him. You're not a parent. You're treating him like a prop. The reason I don't have my daughters in a lot of my videos is because if they say no, I take that at face value. That means, Mom, I need my space. You do whatever you want to do, but don't involve me. I love them, so I accept it. My daughters make mistakes. I don't give them away. I don't dump them off on other people. I talk through it. I get mad. I'm not a perfect parent. Nobody's a perfect parent. But I'm there. And I would never give up on my children. You are pieces of human garbage. There are no other words for you. And this whole white savior complex, thinking, oh my God, think of the optics of getting a child from another country with the help of our fans, using their money and then bringing them home. Think of all the views we'll get. And then, oh, whoopsie doodle, things get a little tough. Time to return him. He's not a pair of jeans that don't fit. He is a child, a human child. You are pieces of garbage. You deserve all the hate, all the backlash, everyone dropping you from being featured with their products. You brought this on yourself. You deserve every ounce of karma, which will come to bite you in the ass. You are not real parents. And to all the real parents out there, keep doing what you're doing. You're amazing. I love you. Thank you for watching.